A few weeks ago, I was here, standing in the Bastille Saloon in Saint Denis in Red Dead Redemption 2, capturing footage for my Red Dead Redemption food video when I noticed this man right here, gobbling what looks like a very tasty prime rib and potatoes dinner. However, it wasn't the tastiness of the dinner that surprised me so. It was the intricate level of detail in how he ate said tasty dinner. Bite for bite. Some crazy son of a bitch at Rockstar literally programmed this man's bite for bite meal. And not just this man, but every man, woman, and child in this game who eats a meal eats it with the same amount of detail. And you may be saying to yourself, big deal, man.
Welcome to modern gaming.
But for a little context, here's what eating looks like in some other games. And I'm not shitting on these games. This is a perfectly reasonable animation for eating food in a video game that isn't about eating food. I'm just marveling at Rockstar's attention to detail for something that 99.5% of us aren't even looking at. But when I happened upon this man eating this tasty meal, bite for bite, and realized how far Rockstar takes their tiny detail-oriented programming, my next question was, how far did they actually go with it? Does this man come to the Bastille Saloon every night and eat this meal? This prime rib with potatoes and peas? Will he sit in this same chair? Does he wear the same clothes every night? Does he come at the same time every night? Or does he ever come back at all? So I propose that we hang out in this saloon for 2 weeks in Red Dead time and find out the answer to this question. If this man's eating habits are as intricate as his animation, we might be looking at something far bigger than a single dinner. We might be looking at routine. A simulation within a simulation. The digestive system of Red Dead Redemption 2 itself. So with that, let us begin. Also, it is my dad's birthday today, so please say happy birthday, Scott. Okay, so I arrived a little late, but here he is. Already halfway through his prime rib and washing it down with a Schiffer beer. But yes, day one, prime rib and Schiffer beer. I was curious to see what he'd do when the meal finished, and I was not disappointed. It seems these utensils are an important part of his routine here at the restaurant. He uses them to clean his mustache, he does this little sharpening thing a few times, and he even checks the quality of the cutlery. This man loves this cutlery. Unfortunately, the first day of observation was compromised when I accidentally pressed the wrong button on my controller and choked out his buddy. But it was interesting to note that our boy immediately puts his hands down and does what looks like pocketing his cutlery. So secondary question, did he bring this cutlery from home? Or is he pilfering Bastille Saloon's silverware in a crime of opportunity? Despite the sudden escalation in violence, I consider day one a success. Valuable data was collected and several pieces of silverware were potentially stolen. But we'll have to find out tomorrow because I'm about to be arrested. Also, before that happens, I think we should rewind for a second and make some names for our boy and his table mates, or else this might get a little confusing. Let's call our main man Josh Brolin. We'll call this guy Flat Hat. We've got Gary Oldman here, and this guy kind of looks like his older brother, so we'll call him Gary Olderman. Later, this woman in the red dress joined the table and started fanning herself, so we'll call her Dakota Fanning. So let's see if there's any variation in the cast of characters throughout our 2 weeks. Okay, so I came extra early today. This guy and the bartender are having a chat, nobody upstairs, and Gary Oldman starting a little early on a whiskey. Didn't I murder you last night? It'll be interesting to see if he stays for dinner. Also interesting to note, Josh Brolin's place setting is already set with cutlery, so maybe he did steal cutlery. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for House MD, the first person to sit at a table in the main restaurant today. These guys came in with booze, and we have our first patron at our table, Tommy Lee Jones having a beer. Second person at the table, Mr. Wrinkle Scars. He just two-handed his beer. Blue boys are hanging out together, and I'll be damned. After half an hour of waiting around, Gary Olderman has walked in and sits at a different table. Also worth noting, nobody has actually eaten a meal here yet. I'm at 40 minutes real time. Apparently it's 11:30 p.m. in Red Dead time, but this clock is going up like 3 hours every 3 minutes, so I can't really go off of it. So far, nobody has come in, ordered a drink, and then sat at the table. They just come in with their drinks. Okay, I've been here for 24 in-game hours. These fellas have been in here for 24 hours. The last of the blue boys have left the building. I looked it up on Reddit while I was waiting, and apparently 24 in-game hours in Red Dead Redemption is 66 minutes in the real world. There's a chance Gary Oldman never leaves the bar. I think we can safely say day 2, no Josh Brolin, and nobody has eaten a fucking bite of food in this restaurant in the last day. Another day of our boy Josh Brolin not showing up. But Gary Oldman's still at the bar. I'm beginning to wonder if I need to leave the saloon to make it refresh because nobody in here has had a meal in 2 days. I guess we keep waiting. It's just you and me, Gary. Gary Oldman again, but in a different suit. And we've got a man eating the prime rib in the same seat. So another question, is this the prime rib seat? If an NPC sits in this chair, is a prime rib dinner automatically triggered? Okay, with the cutlery stealing thing, I'm going to murder someone with this knife, but only to see where the cutlery goes. Okay, cutlery drop, not a thief. At this point, I just want to see Josh Brolin again. I genuinely thought this video was going to be him eating the same meal every night, and then I'd mess with the environment to see if I could get him to change his routine. All right, back in. Wait, what is going on here? Nobody's eating anything. This man is pretending to mix some food up. Gary, I don't know what's real anymore. I feel like we constantly ascribe human emotions to human NPCs of these games, when in reality, if sitting at this seat yields a prime rib dinner for anyone that sits at it, doesn't that make this table just as conscious as any of these NPCs? Isn't this table, in fact, an NPC? Okay, well, I think that is all there is to see today. However, what if I took today's sponsor and put it right here, in the prime rib seat? I knew Factor was a dope meal service, but I never. Yes, when you're busy, you can take this box here, do a couple little fork stabs, toss it in the microwave, and boom, a balanced meal with no mess. Love that. But if you look at the nutrition info on the back, these things are packed with protein and good fats that keep you full. Whether you're hitting the gym, going for walks, or just fueling up for a LAN party to hunt some boars in the forest with the squad, these meals make it stupid easy to eat right without thinking about it. They're made without refined seed oils, refined sugars, or artificial colors or sweeteners, and that's a huge plus. I'm gonna get off at the next stop. I usually eat one about 45 minutes before a workout because it keeps me full and fueled so I can work out a little longer. They also rotate their menu constantly with over 100 different meals. You can pick based on your goals too. Keto, calorie smart, protein plus, vegan, veggie, whatever fits your plan. Last week I had this shrimp macaroni and cheese with bacon. It was pretty good. Can you tell I actually love this company? They're also super chill if you need to pause or skip a week. No hassle at all. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code bandercootfb50 to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Can I use my own code? That is code bandercootfb50 at factor75.com to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Thank you very much, Factor, and now back to the experiment. Okay, good morning. 3 prime ribs. Okay, so people are exclusively eating prime rib in this restaurant. So I'm beginning to think that a meal will not spawn if you, the player, are watching. You can only enter in on a meal. Hence why they all just kind of hold their cutlery awkwardly afterwards. It's like you're watching beyond the cycle of what you're supposed to be watching. I'm gonna test this theory though, so we're gonna have to reset the day. Okay, we're going in. My prediction, mid-prime rib or just finished. Okay, or nobody in here at all. In we go. Okay, I definitely think my theory is correct. We have 5 table settings where a possible prime rib can be served. Once an NPC's prime rib is finished... Oh, he just got up mid-prime rib. What happens to this meal? I'm gonna walk out and see if this meal is still here when I come back. More prime ribs have been served. You're eating someone's dinner, my friend. Or will he even touch it? Have I created a permanent prime rib by disrupting the flow? Let's see if it still exists after a killing spree. Prime rib gone, more people eating prime rib. No Josh Brolin. We can conclude this man does not eat the same meal every night. And if I could just find him, I could follow him and find out what he does eat. So I went scouring the streets of Saint Denis. I didn't find him, but I did witness this woman getting robbed and shot. I tried to help, but I was too late. I was curious to see what the aftermath of this interaction would be, so I followed as her husband or boyfriend or dad, picked her up, put her on his horse, and rode off with her. He got all the way up past the Van Horn trading post before I lost him around a corner. When I caught up, I found that she'd just been dropped on the ground. So this is what the NPCs do with their discarded props after a life event in Saint Denis. They take them to the outskirts and drop them. I picked her up off the ground and put her on my own horse. Then these fellas rounded the corner and got the wrong idea, and my day ended once again in bloodshed. What strikes me most about Red Dead Redemption 2 and maybe all games that try to imitate life is how close they can get to feeling real without ever being real. I know that woman I saw was designed for a one-time event. Her story exists in isolation, without consequence. Because in here I can trace her entire existence, from the moment she spawned to the moment she's discarded, and know for certain that nobody in this city will ever actually remember her. And what does it say about us that murdering all these NPCs is funny because we know that they aren't real, but still I wouldn't even think about shooting this equally unreal dog. It's all just pixels and code and sound files, but some of it we've decided, or at least I've decided, deserves mercy. Somewhere in us there's this strange, inconsistent empathy that decides what kind of fake life counts. And that says more about us than it does about the game. And maybe you're saying to yourself, I have no problem shooting dogs in video games, or old women, or kids. And maybe it doesn't feel any different to you. And I don't know if that makes you more well-adjusted than me, or not. Welcome to day 11. Arthur and I camped out on the edge of town. I haven't been feeding my host's body throughout this experiment, so pardon Arthur's peckishness. Let's travel to our favorite saloon and see what's up. He isn't here. If I didn't have the footage of that first night, I would never believe I saw this man. I'm ordering food for famished Arthur. What'll it be? Prime rib, of course. Interesting, I only get 1 slice of prime rib to the NPCs 3.
Oh my
God. Guys, these NPCs are not eating prime rib. These aren't prime rib plates. These are roast beefs. Roast beef isn't even on the menu in this restaurant. Okay, I don't care what dish they're saying this is. The prime rib says it comes with potato dauphinoise and spring salad, and it's coming with peas, and that is the least dauphinoise potato I've ever seen in my days. As far as I'm concerned, it's prime rib now. Okay, back in we go. Oh my God, it's him. Josh, where have you been? I can't believe this. What do you know about his whereabouts, Gary Oldman? Is that Dakota Fanning? Okay, Josh, buddy, it is you and me. Where did you go? What did you see? Interesting to note, he's wearing the exact same outfit. I've seen Gary here in a bunch of different fits. He's up with a cigar. Oh, and goodbye cigar. And hello cigar. And goodbye cigar. Okay, so he's on a manic cigar path. So he smokes a cigar for 1 puff and then tosses it. This is insane. Interesting to note, he's out of cigars and now smoking cigarettes. And now here he is hanging outside of the Delatour. It is 7:35 a.m. Red Dead time. I don't want him to know that I'm following him. It could change his route. And please God, do not let me accidentally choke someone out. We're on the move. 8 a.m. Okay, 8:30, another stop to smoke outside of the theater. Holy shit, it's the whole dinner table. How's Gary Oldman here if he's always at the bar? It's almost 9:30 a.m. This man has been continuously smoking since last night. So maybe this is the answer to where he's been. Hanging outside of this theater. 10:30 a.m. we have movement. 10:45, another lean. Still smoking. Coughing. Yeah, I bet you're coughing, Mr. Smokey. What do you think's gonna happen to you?
Don't even have a job?
Leave me alone.
Good fucking question, though. 12 on the button, he's moving. Back to the theater for a quick cigarette before his next cigarette. Still leaning at the theater. I can't believe this is what this asshole does. Theater cigarette. Theater cigarette. Thunderstorm coming. Still smoking. This man is a husk. Who needs sleep when you have cigarettes, gentlemen, am I right? Smoke them if you got them, and we've all got them. We have unlimited cigarettes. Ooh, this guy has a pipe. House MD has decided not to partake in cigarettes. It's a Hugh Laurie joke, by the way. Morning, gentlemen. Fancy a cigarette? I wonder if anyone smokes with their left hand in this game. Wonder where those power lines go. Hour after hour, I watched and I waited. And after long enough, I realized where he goes, what he does, it doesn't matter. His route, his path, his every move, all decided by someone that probably spent half an hour on him before moving on to the next NPC's route and heading out for lunch. This NPC was programmed to be a slave to a routine, but not today. Today we free Josh Brolin. I chased him clear out of Saint Denis. I took him as far as I could before some bandits took care of me. He ran into the fog and vanished. Maybe off to Valentine, maybe to find a family somewhere out there. But probably, if I had to guess, back to the theater wall, back to the cigarettes and cigars, back to the saloon. Prime rib, schiffer beer, bite for bite.